the 24 Hours of Le Mans, a week-long celebration of motorsport. This event, the toughest sports car race on the planet, can make or break a career. The world's biggest car manufacturers put their reputations on the line. It is where dreams come true and where hearts can be broken.
The race almost sort of chooses you if you're going to win it in a way. It's sort of like obviously a great test of man and machine. Weather looks interesting, so there's going to be, it's going to be a tough race. Audi are fast, Toyota are right there, so it's going to be a tremendous battle.
The 24 Hours of Le Mans is one of the biggest sporting events in the world, and this 84th edition saw an attendance of 263,500 spectators.
Le Mans is a very strong brand. 24 Hours is very special, and just a product which has been built since 110 years with a lot of great memories, great fights with amazing brands: Ferrari, Ford, Mercedes, Jaguar. So you just build history with amazing ingredients, and Le Mans has all those ingredients.
The excitement began to build with scrutineering in the city centre. Fans from all over the world crowded the barricades to catch a glimpse of their favourite sports car being examined by the event's technical officials.
The scrutineering here at Le Mans is one of the things that's so special because it happens in public. Everyone can go see, the engineers go poke around the cars and measure everything to the last millimeter. So that's the main thing that goes on for the car itself. And then for the drivers, we have to check all our suits. We have to get weighed in public, so you get to see how fat everyone is.
On Tuesday, the drivers gathered on the start-finish line for the traditional group photo. Later in that day, the gates opened for the public autograph session. The hardcore fans braved a torrential downpour for the chance to get just about anything signed by their favourite driver.
All the people are arriving with a very positive attitude, just to celebrate, to enjoy, to share. And I would say that this is the same from the paddock side. All the team are so exciting to race here for the 24 Hours and to meet the fan for this big weekend.
During qualifying, Porsche driver Neil Yarni became the first man to seal back-to-back poles at the Circuit de la Sarthe since Stéphane Sarrazin in 2007 and 2008. Yarni beat the #1 sister car of Timo Bernhard by a fraction of a second. On Friday, the traditional driver parade drew thousands of spectators to Le Mans city centre. The crowds were delighted as their heroes paraded through the old city streets, throwing souvenirs and signing autographs.
No, it's an amazing race. You kind of forget how big it is really until the year comes back around again and you're here at the track and you get that special feeling when you drive here. It's really unique. There's not a circuit like it really on the calendar. So yeah, it's cool, and then the build-up keeps coming and coming as the week goes on, and the more qualifyings you do. And yeah, we're here parade now, and it's not long to go until the start. Less than 24 hours.
As 3 o'clock approached on Saturday afternoon, there wasn't an empty seat in the grandstands. Hollywood megastar Brad Pitt was on hand to wave the flag to start the race, but not before Grand Marshal and retired Toyota driver Alexander Wurz drove Pitt for a hot lap around La Sarthe. The race was a thriller, starting with a first ever safety car start to the race due to the wet conditions after a huge rain shower just before the start.
Green lights all around the track, no overtaking before they cross the line.
When the race got underway, we saw a huge duel out front between early leaders Porsche, Toyota and Audi. Toyota showed its intent, powering past the Porsches to lead, showing its TSO 50 car was well suited to the demands of Le Mans. This was a race it was determined to win for the very first time. Audi is no stranger to success here, but it effectively lost its number 7 car from the fight early on due to a turbocharger failure, which took 20 minutes to repair. There was some thrilling GT action too, with Porsche surging into the lead battle early on with Ferrari and qualifying pacesetters Ford. There were some close calls for the super quick LMP1 cars in traffic thanks to Le Mans' biggest ever grid of 60 cars. But the pace was so hot, nobody was backing off. There was a scare for the front-running Porsche when it flat-spotted its tyres ahead of a slow zone, while last year's LMP2 winners KCMG hit trouble at twilight with water in the car's electrics. As day turned to night, Audi hit more trouble as the side panel numbers had to be replaced on both cars. The big news of the night was Porsche losing its number 1 car to overheating issues, which would consign it to a lowly finish. More bad luck for world champion Mark Webber and company, and their WEC title defense now in tatters. Porsche also lost both its GT cars due to spectacular engine failures, while the number 64 Chevy had a huge shunt at the Dunlop chicane. Corvette Racing, GTE Pro winners last year, was not really in the hunt this time around. In LMP2, the front-running Thierry by TDS Oreca shunted spectacularly, which handed the class lead to the Signatech Alpine squad. But at the front, the big story was the number 2 Porsche versus the chasing Toyotas. The Japanese cars switched positions after dawn on Sunday morning as the pressure on reigning champions Porsche intensified. In GTE, it was the Ford against Ferrari, and Ford gained the upper hand in a repeat of the 1966 duel between the two famous marques. The number 82 Ferrari spun at Porsche curves, which gifted the Blue Oval a strong advantage. Out front, the number 5 Toyota and number 2 Porsche fought out the overall win in the closing hours. Toyota took the upper hand with the number 5 car, but its number 6 car suffered a time-consuming spin, damaging its bodywork, which required repairs. Now the fight for overall victory was a straight shootout between the number 5 Toyota and number 2 Porsche. We now had two-way battles for the most famous crown in sports car racing as the hours wound down. Porsche versus Toyota in LMP1 and Ford versus Ferrari in GTE Pro. But just as Toyota looked to have conquered Le Mans for the first time, it lost the victory in the cruelest fashion. Kazuki Nakajima's car breaking down on the penultimate lap with just minutes remaining on the clock, and the number 2 Porsche passed it to inherit the win. The atmosphere in the two garages could not have been more different, but astonishment and tears were shared emotions. Porsche scored its 18th overall Le Mans win with Neil Yanni, Romain Dumas and Marc Lieb. It might have been an inherited victory, but Porsche kept the pressure on Toyota all the way, and this proved crucial. So the number 6 Toyota took second, ahead of the number 8 Audi in third. As ever, a huge crowd invaded the track to join in the post-race celebrations. Porsche had won Le Mans again, but this will be a race that's remembered for Toyota's heartbreakingly late failure. The GTE Pro class saw a famous win for Ford 50 years after its first win here in 1966. The number 68 Ford GT, run by Chip Ganassi's team, won despite 2 post-race penalties. It finished ahead of the number 82 Ferrari, which was also penalised after a protest, but it retained second place ahead of another Ford. In LMP2, the number 36 Signatech Alpine saw off its rivals with metronomic efficiency, giving the French team a home victory. Ferrari did prevail in the GTE AM class with the US-entered number 62 Scuderia Corsa car, beating the AF Corsa Ferrari and Abu Dhabi Proton Porsche. What a race! What an unbelievable finish! Next stop for the WEC, another classic venue, the Nürburgring.